So guys, today I've got quite a short one. I think because we have our special guest, we've left lots of time for Chandan to be able to run through his topic. I want to give you, and in fact, it's I guess even I said new release, but it's probably a day or two ahead of actually being released. But we as this was raised by one of our partners in particular, but a number of you have mentioned it after this. The ability to be able to control intercom access within the SureMDM Hub environment, and I'm going to show you where you will find it in the next day or two quickly, and then Chandan is going to cover specifically shared device mode on SureLock, and that's normally for our Android devices, and it's a topic that's quite involved, and I know Chandan's prepared a whole lot to be able to share with us, but we may even, I guess, end up doing it over a couple of sessions. So let's see how that goes. So let me quickly jump into my hub. As I said, it's slightly ahead of time, but I wanted to mention and perhaps just a step back. Hub traditionally, as those of you who are using it already would know, is available for our partners, our MSPs, and generally those partners or those MSPs take complete control of the support of their customers within their Hub environment. And so at the initial release of Hub, you found that the little intercom indicator on the bottom right-hand side was removed from any SureMDM console that was linked to your particular SureMDM Hub. And obviously, as I said, there was a reason behind that. The requests obviously have come through to allow specific customers, if you wanted to have access to that intercom button, which obviously gets you directly to our tech support team. And that change has been made, and we're expecting it to go live within the next day or two. Very, very briefly, as I said, I wanted to just show you that you can do this both when creating a new customer or on an existing customer's environment. And you will notice that the way that you will do it is right at the bottom where you would have normally enabled global jobs and profiles. There will be in the next release another checkbox just below this that will offer for you to be able to enable intercom for that particular customer environment. Obviously, if you have an existing customer set up, you can use the edit button, and you can go and do the same thing again and select what will be the checkbox at the bottom of that customer edit field. So again, it's I guess a day or two before, and I was hoping that it was going to be there this morning, but I'm sure for many of those of you who have asked about it, it'll be good news. And the option, obviously, then immediately within the customer's console, they will see the little intercom button, and they have the ability to be able to reach out to the 42 Gears team directly within that environment. So yeah, again, very briefly, but I'm sure that for those of you who've asked, it will be some relief at being able to offer that in the environment. So second topic, obviously the main ones for today, and I'll sit back and relax and learn a little bit as well, is shared device mode, as I said, specifically within the SureLock for Android environment. I'm going to pass over the screen sharing to Chandan quickly so that he can give us a look at what he's going to present on his side. And as normal, if you have any questions while we're doing that, Chandan, you should have the pop-up to be able to share. Okay. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask while Chandan's running through it, feel free to drop them in the questions box, and I'll ask those to Chandan as he's working through what he's going to show us.
Stuart, did you share? Okay, I got the pop now.
Got it. Perfect.
Perfect, no problem. Thank you so much, Stuart, for letting me in as a guest appearance where the Arman was not there. I think he must be having a wine or a beer in the early morning somewhere, and I'm having a coffee. Fitting his shoes. And yeah, so as Stuart mentioned, we will be covering a topic, shared device mode, which it is a vast topic. So I would like to cover one bit of a shared device mode, where exactly a shared device, why we need. First, any question any customer would ask or anyone would like to know, why and what is the importance of shared device mode. So you guys have already been, most of you guys on the call have used SureLock as a kiosk mode. Now, how do we enhance that? How do we impress our management with a revenue rate to increase by using single device, but can be used by multiple people? For example, in a vertical like retail sector, let's take an example. If same device is used by multiple employees in the store, let's take an example. If user A logs in at morning 9 a.m. and his shift is done at let's say 2 p.m. Now the same device can be used by next user by logging in his own credentials. Here the profiles and applications and even the data will be isolated and dynamic. So not only on the retail sector, it can be in a logistic and hospitality industry, and let it be even education industry. If you would like to reduce procuring multiple devices for each person, if you would like to hand over a device, same device for multiple people, this is the best option for you guys to have a shared device mode. And the best thing about this is once we configure this in the SureLock, the same device can be used by multiple users. And next is security wise, since the user A data will be cleared as soon as he logged out, user A data will be completely cleared. Now user B can log in with his own applications and with his own data loading up. And the next, as a compliance, the admins can know which device and which user is logged in. For example, in this device, if a user A logs in the custom column, it will update which user and which patient has logged in and then how they have logged in. This is the beauty of this shared mode. And Stuart, do you have any customers who is already using in your region, or how is it?
Yeah, we do. I guess, to be completely honest, and that's why I was really glad that you were going to be showing this. I don't think it's used as regularly as it probably could be. So yeah, I think it's really helpful.
Great. And yeah, so how do we configure this shared device? As I previously mentioned, it is a vast topic. Like why I mentioned this as a vast topic, by using shared device, you can have a different users locally stored without even integrating with any IdPs. If you are using SureLock, you can create multiple users locally and have a dedicated profile assigned to that. And the second thing is, in the shared device, you have a privilege with SureMDM to integrate with your IdPs. It can be your Azure AD, which is Entra ID, or OneLogin, or G Suite. And recently we did even release our own Sure IdP. Of course, you would have got the marketing materials and everything, and that is very much interesting because that is an in-house IdP, which I'll be covering in the future session if Stuart or Arman lets me in, because they let me in only if someone is going on holiday. So I would like to cover most of the topics as well, if that's fine for you.
Good idea.
Yeah. So today's session, since it is a vast topic, as I mentioned, I will be covering one part of it, which is shared device mode on a SureLock with integrated with the IdP. So how do we do this? Like you guys, everyone are familiar with how do we configure SureLock settings? Of course, yes, because I can see the attendees, most of them I had an interaction and then they're well aware. So I'll be quickly jumping on to shared device mode. In the jobs, if we go to SureLock settings, here in the SureLock settings, we can see there is an option called shared device mode. Now, inside the shared device mode, the first, we need to enable the access of shared device mode. So this part is very important. Like the legacy mode of SureLock is like either you will be using a multi-user mode or a single user mode, isn't it? Now, once we configure this shared device mode, as I previously mentioned, you can have multiple profiles named after. These are locally stored profile, and it can be activated for a different dynamic applications which can be allowed, and whatever the web applications, we can predefine it. And the next important thing is like the user authentication. As I previously mentioned, in the user authentication, it is very important to know which login which your user is authenticated and approved by your enterprise organizations. There's a very keen part, because not if this device is accessible by in a store, you know, if any visitor comes and then he tries to log in, they should not be able to access in with their own credentials, or if they should not be able to do it, right? So authentication plays a vital role here. Now, how do we configure? So in this session, I would like to cover Entra ID integration. So we just need to go to first server integration. Here you can see, as I previously mentioned, we have LDAP, Azure AD, and how do we configure this particular Azure AD. So here I'm using IdP integration with, of course, Azure AD has to be changed with Entra ID, which our team will be taking care in the next release. I know why the change of name did not be mismatch in the profiles, and here, of course, in the shared device mode, it will be released in the next market release. So since you have configured Azure AD, and in the next tab, I have just for saving some time, I have pre-configured the enterprise application here. So in your Azure portal, you will be creating a new application. So here you can add your own application, and you can predefine what exactly need to be done, and then how you can input your own method. Let's name it as shared device mode. And you can create your own application. You can mention the pre-conf details, like here the prerequisites would be like it will ask for the package name, which package name is, of course, it is related to SureMDM, which is com.next, and the hash code it will be asking, which can be captured from the SureMDM itself, or one of us will be able to help you to configure this shared device mode and how we can function on this. So once you create all this creation, like can you see here, it generated application ID and object ID, which is very important. And you can even create your own setup for a single sign-on, and here you can have a SAML authentication. So here we'll be predefining all the configurations, how it is required, and I'll be mentioning the username and password and which user it has an access. For example, here in the username and groups, we have to predefine which roles. For example, in your organization, if you have a different teams, like let's say development team, sales team, only particular users should be able to access this particular device, and that role configuration is very important. And also, if you can see here, the permission which this particular user should have, and then how it can be predetermined and configured, those configurations play a vital role on how we configure things. So now, what are the options in the SureLock it is looking for? It is looking for client ID and tenant. So now in the application which I had created, this is a pre-configured. So anyway, I will be taking the same configuration of tenant ID and object ID which you have here, and I'll be copying and pasting on the SureLock server configuration, and of course we will be enabling single sign-on. So the beauty of this single sign-on is, see, if you have any applications related to Microsoft, now since using SureMDM or shared device mode, you have already logged in with your own Azure AD credentials. After that, once you log in with Microsoft account, it will automatically sign on with all the applications related to Microsoft. Let it be your Teams, let it be your Doc, Office, and even Pilot, any applications related to your Office, it will automatically sign in. This will reduce the downtime, and this will reduce the efficiency of employee who does not need to keep on re-logging in multiple times. And I had clicked on enable single sign-on, and I will save this as a job. And here you can, since you're using a shared device mode, you have an option to configure your branding. So how do we configure? Before branding, we can even enable pin session. Of course, like previously, like the GDPR compliance we were doing, if you remember, Stuart, like it does not need two-factor authentication. It might ask for a three-factor authentication.
Yeah.
In that configuration, if you enable the pin, so what it does is end user should create their own device lock pin. So when you try to press a power button on the device, and then if you try to unlock, you should be opening the device to unlock with your own pin. Now you might ask me a question, what if I forgot the password of the pin? Yes, you have an option to reset, or every logout of the session on the device, it will ask you to recreate the pin. That is the beauty of shared device mode again. And here you can even display the logged in user and automatic session logged out after a specific timeout. Let's take an example. If you are there in a warehouse or any retail stores, nowadays there is a compliance, like if anyone works more than 8 hours or 6 hours, these organizations want to be very friendly with their employees, so they can have a session like 6 hours, it should auto log out. So in that case, we'll be able to handle that particular session as well. So every 6 hours, automatically it will log out. Stuart, you're able to hear me, right?
Yes. Yeah. All good. All good.
Yeah. Perfect. So here I have configured every 6 hours it will log out. No matter what happened, the session will log out and everything will be cleared. And one more beauty of this is, like, since you're there on the home page of shared device mode, you can have your own enterprise organization logo. The branding plays a vital role where I mean, like I do keep branding, like I should have wear the 42 years logo here as a shirt, so that it will be easy. And now, yes, jokes apart, like here in the company's logo, you can have your own logo path. So it can be anything like SD card, company logo, and whatever you can describe, copyright description. Just to highlight, and what configurations we have done is we just enable the shared device mode. I will try to make it very simple. So in the user authentication, I went and then enabled Azure AD. I copied the client ID and tenant ID, which we had configured in the enterprise applications. And yes, after that, I just saved, or I need to save. And here you can do your own branding with updating custom logo and so on. And once you save, you can see all the details configured, and I'll be able to save this option. So now the SureLock settings is saved. You all know how to deploy the configurations. So for example, I'm using ET40 device, and let me apply this configuration to the device, there's a share device mode, and once I apply the configuration to the device, there's the device which I'm using as a demo. As I previously mentioned, you will be able to change the logo, and here it will use authenticator app to log in for the end users. Now, whenever I demo this to a team, they will ask few questions like, I would like to cover these questions as well, the generic questions. What if I lose the internet connectivity? Can I be able to log in directly? Yes. Since you have the local storage, if you tap on 5 times, you will be able to log in directly. That is one question. And next, do I get an option to reconnect to some other network or Wi-Fi or configure? Can you see the app plugin on the right hand side? Here you can predefine the applications like Wi-Fi center or Bluetooth, or if you want to add anything else, you can customize that as per your login credentials.
And those, Chandan, those would be our SureLock plugin apps. Is that right?
Yes, those are
Okay.
pre-built SureLock plugin apps we can allow and we can enable.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, in this demonstration, we have integrated with the Entra ID. So it asks for the Entra ID credentials, and let me directly try to punch in, get the credentials and then log in. So I have a bad memory, so I cannot remember my details, sorry. So let me use a clipboard here. I'll try to use the clipboard to generate. Here you go, paste, next. And even if you copy the credentials, don't worry, I'll be removing these credentials soon. And I need to authenticate, guys, anyways. As soon as I do the sign in, I have configured 3-factor authentication. As you previously noticed, I had configured so here in the Microsoft, as you all know, you can just enter this authentication code and do it, and I can even do the verification code. So let me just use my verification app to load that part. Just a moment. So perfect. So now it is logged in and authenticated by Entra ID. This is doing a handshake with our Entra ID organization ID, which we had logged in, and it will load the application specific to this particular user, and whatever the configurations we have customized and done in this particular profile, it will load all the settings here. And it is taking time. Maybe the authentication processes, or is it my internet? No, it is good. So let's try to see. Yeah, here you go. Can you see? I have just intentionally kept it blank. So here, instead of SureLock, you can do the branding. Those parts I have kept it blank so that next user, if you try to log in, how it shows. And here you can see, like, if you once log in with your account ID or Outlook or Teams, all the applications will be done single sign-on. And since we had configured, if you remember, the session timeout, on session timeout, automatically this session will terminate of 6 hours. Now, how this will be helpful for the second user if they want to log in or if they want to use a different set of applications. You can try to just log out. Can you see here? If you just try to log out and log in with a new user, and they will have a set of different applications which are assigned to them. So in this case, there are Stuart?
Sorry, I was just going to ask. Obviously, there's the manual logout, and then there's the option to log out based on a timed period. That's
Based on
the
time
that's the two.
scale, and we
Okay.
can even configure as I showed previously in the SureLock settings. They can even have a pin settings, like basically
Yeah.
if you go to pin, and you will be able to use authentication. Like in this login, I can set a pin, and I would like to set the app plugins as well. Like in the logout session, I did show the app plugins you will be able to enable. There are different plugins which you will be able to access. If you want to security manager, Wi-Fi center, plugin details, you can reconfigure anything, and you will be able to use a different profile after the session timeout, and you can even try to monitor which user has logged in at what time. That gives us a privilege of generating an analytics which user has logged in and which warehouse store, and all these things we are able to customize and see how it can be done. And just for this session, I will try to log out and show. And even if you try to reboot or shut down, it will give you an access to re-login. And now once you log in, whatever the session timeout you have done, those sessions will be auto cleared with the help of SureLock cache. We are trying to remove all the details on this so that end user has to re-log in. Yeah, there is one part of it, and I would like to. There are multiple ways of integration, like as I previously mentioned, this just integration with Entra ID, and you will be able to integrate with Google G Suite, LDAP, and there might be a question like, what if I forget everything? Like I should be able to log in as a local host, and I do not want to have any IDP. There are many customers of us who tell that I do not want to integrate with IDP because our employees or every employee is not present. For them, so you can directly use admin login. So the beauty of this is, again, you don't need to have integrated with any of the IdPs. There's a local host. You can click on login. If you have a detail stored inside SureLock settings, this will load a different applications which are configured to this particular app. Now, if you want to, the forgot password will give you the hint of how to reset the password and how you'll be able to do the configuration. And here there's one of the integration which I would like to show, and in different sessions, like I would like to cover in detail of how we can use SureIDP for the integration of here. We'll be able to use SureIDP as an integration option. And one more enhancement what we have done, you might have heard with the conditional access privilege of shared device. If you go to account settings, and in the account settings there is a shared device mode. So the same configuration what you had created in the SSO and the ID, you will be able to use the SAML authentication type here, and you will be able to even configure the conditional access. For example, if a policy does not match, like a compliance policy does not match, this will be eliminated. This device can have a strict action of having only locked to a certain applications or policies. So those parts I do not want to give more information because I don't want to confuse between multiple topics. I would like to cover conditional access, shared device mode, and SureIDP in a different sessions when Stuart or Arman again allow me to give a guest appearance and have have a very fruitful session with you guys as well. And yeah, there's a simple demonstration. I want to keep it simple because my coffee is getting over, so I need to grab one more. And feel free to pop in any questions so that we will take up anything. Do you see any questions in your portal, Stuart?
Not for the moment, Chandan. So we all good for now. Thank you. Thank you for doing those other questions in the meantime as well. I'm sure a lot of those would have been what would have come up from those guests who've joined. So, thank you. It was really interesting.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. And obviously, for the next session, our Arman and Stuart will be doing different topics, but I'll be joining one more session to cover Sure IDP and shared device mode with integration of different configurations, which I did mention. And yeah, have a very good day ahead. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, Chandan. Thank you. Again, it's there were a number of things that you've shown that I was not familiar with either. So I really hope that for those of you who joined, this was interesting. And as Chandan said, really a kind of a small start at what can be done as part of the larger shared device mode functionality in SureLock. So thank you. Thanks again, Chandan. Very briefly, again, for those of you, sorry, I'm hopping one ahead. For those of you who join us regularly, just a reminder of the dates. I noticed that Gabby had sneaked in a reference to summer on the next couple of slides. Obviously, for those of us in the southern hemisphere, it's obviously not as warm as it is in the north. Questions, obviously, as we've often mentioned, direct access to Gabby and the rest of our partner marketing team using the partner marketing at 42gears.com email address, and our tech support team via a number of those methods, including tech support at 42gears.com. They're available 24/7 for you. And obviously, if you soon begin enabling Intercom access within your own individual customers' accounts, Intercom access directly to the tech support team at the same time. There we go. That was the summer wishes from Gabby. That was for those of you who are in the middle of summer. For those of us in the middle of winter, happy winter to us. And thank you again, Chandan. It was really good and so interesting. I really appreciate your time and what you showed about that shared device mode. For the rest of you who join us regularly, we will see you on the 9th of July. Will be the next 2-weekly slot. And we really appreciate your time and thank you again. Thanks, Chandan.